Please welcome Acumatica Chief Executive Officer, Jon Roskill.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Wow. It's so great to be back live with real people. So welcome to the Acumatica Summit 2021 here at the Wynn Resort. Spectacular place. We're so lucky to be able to host in a place as fantastic as the Wynn. We have over 2,000 people here in person. We have another many thousands now watching out on the internet live. So welcome to all of you. I'm so excited. We've got a fantastic show for you, a fantastic summit for you. Over the next few days, you're going to see a lot of exciting new product features, some great demonstrations. We're going to make some pretty significant announcements about what's going on with the company and some of the areas we're operating in. We got lots and lots of things going on with partners, and we're going to do most of this morning's session through the lens of our customers. The customers, of course, we work with day in and day out to try and drive our collective success. So welcome. It was so much fun last night, I got to say. I mean, so much energy out of dropping in the marketplace and just getting to see everybody again after what's been, a year and a half since literally we last all got together at the summit here in Vegas, but at the Cosmopolitan. So it really is great to see everybody again. So it's impossible for us to start off without at least acknowledging the challenges that we've had collectively over the last year. It's been a challenging year, whether it's been inventory shortages or working through health policies or governmental programs like PPP, or of course the challenges that we all experience through moving to remote work. But through all of this, the Acumatica community, and I mean that, it truly is a community, we've come through it together, and we've come through it extremely well. And I'm very proud of how everybody has done. And of course, the word that sums all of this up is resilience. We are a very resilient group of people. And Acumatica customers were positioned better than most in the fact that running Acumatica, you were immediately prepared to move to remote work scenarios. And we literally had many of you emailing me overnight that we've gone fully remote, John, and we were running on phones, we're running on browsers, and we couldn't have done it without Acumatica being there, or that we'd made that decision. And you were sending us videos. We posted a bunch of those videos up on our website, just to show people what others are doing and that everyone was getting through it in their own way. And so collectively we got through it. It's obviously not fully done, but I can tell you that Acumatica customers as a whole did very well through the last year, and many of them had really strong years of growth, which is exciting, and we'll talk a little bit more about capitalizing on events like this. But part of this came back to Acumatica and how were we going to behave through all of this. And for those of you who have been following us for a little while, a little over 3 years ago, we published something called the Customer Bill of Rights. And we put this out there as a challenge to the industry around how we believe software companies should behave more from a business practices standpoint or an ethics standpoint, because we believe we see a lot of bad behavior in this industry. And we thought we could do better, and we put this out as a challenge to the industry. It's around things like data ownership and the fact that we believe the customer's data is actually the customer's data and not the publisher's data and should be treated like that. And as we worked through the pandemic, there were lots of things that we were struggling. Which way should we work on this? A customer that needs an extra 60 days on payment. these things became just absolute no-brainers when we looked at the Customer Bill of Rights as not just a business practices document, but as a way we should be operating the company. And it became our North Star. And for every tough decision we had to make, we just looked to what we put into that document, and everything became easy. And through all of this, the finance department, the services team, the support team, people were calling us up saying, hey, I need to be live tomorrow. What can you do to help us? And everybody stepped up. So I'm super, super proud of finance and support and services, and please join me in giving them a hand for their work. I didn't mention at the beginning, but we do have around 200 Acumatica employees here at the summit floating around, and many of them work in support and services roles. And so you can, if you've got good feedback for them, I'm sure they'd love to hear it. So then beyond, beyond those operational components, though, it goes deeper into how do we actually run things like the Acumatica Cloud. And in times like the last year, being able to count on the vendor having your software up and running became even more important. Obviously it's important all the time, but when the entire company is working remotely, it becomes even more important. And so again, I'm very happy to be able to announce that we achieved not only our uptime of 99.9, our guaranteed uptime, our SLA, but we delivered 99.996% uptime over the last year. So, and just to give you a sense, because obviously we're growing, we've put up numbers like this in the past, but we're all growing. And just to give you a sense of what we're doing that on, because it's not the same workload as it was even a year ago, we ran over 4.8 billion transactions, all right? 4.8 billion transactions through the Acumatica Cloud in the last year. And so doing that kind of volume on that kind of uptime is pretty impressive. And I'm really happy with how the operations team did through all of that. As always, at the highest level of compliance, Acumatica is fully SOC 1 and SOC 2 compliance certified. And then also extremely important, it's something that tested all of us in the last year, in what was the most difficult year we've ever experienced from hacking and cyber attacks. I'm proud to be able to say Acumatica stood up and had 0 security or crypto ransom incidents. Okay? Yeah, extremely, extremely important. Through all of this, of course, Acumatica employees were working remotely as well. And as many of you know, we're a very distributed company. So we're already quite good at working remotely, working on things like Teams and Zoom, working across time zones. But different challenges were presented, right? And we all experienced this. Things like the fact that your office and your bedroom are the same things. And you wake up and you can't remember what day it is, right? Come on, who didn't have that one happen in the last year, right? I definitely did. But the different challenges were typically more things like people working with, in a 2-bedroom apartment with younger children they're trying to take care of at the same time. And so, a whole different level of challenges. And I'm super proud that during all of this, the development team was able to ship not just 1, but 2 really, really strong releases of Acumatica. And so 2020 R2 and 2020 R1. And arguably, the release we're going to show you a whole bunch of in this conference, the 2021 R2, arguably a lot of that was done under the same circumstances. And so very, very proud of the development team on that, and I'd like you to join me in giving them a hand as well. So if there's anything that we learned in the last year, it's to expect the unexpected, right? Beyond the pandemic, we had the Texas, power lines freeze and they lost power in Texas. Yeah, I see Thomas down here nodding, yeah, from Texas. We had the fires all along the West Coast. Those of us up in the Seattle area were pretty impacted. We have the guy who tried to turn the boat around in the Suez Canal, right? And we all know that the impact that had around the world on various supply chains. And floods, and floods are becoming, unfortunately, much more common. And you see it, right now, the floods that are happening in Europe. We've got customers in Germany that are being impacted by the floods right now. And so, it's expect the unexpected. We have to be, we can't anticipate everything, but what we can do is we can work to prepare. And that's part of what we're doing here together and by running Acumatica, is being able to move from just being able to respond and restore, as we're showing on this chart, but being able to get to fully capitalizing and thriving on whatever is happening, whatever is happening in that unexpected world that we live in. And this brings up this notion of digital resilience. And that's really what we're encouraging, and we're thinking a lot about how do we build more of that into everything we do. And I would say the customers that have really gone after this and have really been able to get to the point where they can get to that accelerate and innovate stage in their business are the ones that have fully embraced digital transformation. Okay, and we've been talking about digital transformation really since the start of Acumatica now 13 years ago. And you now see everybody is talking about digital transformation, right? I poked fun as a little over a year ago when Dell was running these ads about how their servers were empowering digital transformation. And, and that's certainly true. Servers and switches and cables, they're part of digital transformation. But there's really nothing more core to digital transformation than your business application systems. And so really embracing that and really setting yourself up on what we'd say is a journey is something we're going to talk quite a bit about here today. So with that, let's go ahead and hear from some of our customers about this.
Digital transformation for us is definitely not a destination, but it's an ongoing journey.
We feel like we're prepared by using Acumatica for whatever the market has to offer.
Getting a system in place like Acumatica allows us to identify tasks and challenges we didn't know existed before.
We're just at the beginning phases of really producing some great things, some great tools, some great solutions for our customers.
We see that we are on an endless trajectory. We've succeeded in our immediate goals of launching, and now we have a long list of things we're excited to add on as we grow.
I am so glad that we are on a cloud-based system. Over the last year, it has been critical for us to have our employees work remotely.
What we see with Acumatica is the ability to get access to our data anywhere, anytime, know it's accurate, and not worry about it.
I don't think the journey's really ever going to end because there's all these possibilities.
So it's important to make sure that we have the tools in place to be able to sustain that journey as we go forward.
We don't know what's around the corner, but we're going to be able to tackle it.
So you heard the word journey come up there a lot, right? And that's this, this idea I think that's being falsely pitched right now is that digital transformation is just this, like you snap your fingers and you transform and suddenly you're there. And in reality, that's not the case at all. In reality, the customers that are really pushing the envelope on this, they recognize that they're on this journey, and as soon as they get to the next stage or the next step, they're thinking about what do they want next or the next 2 or 3 steps. And so we've put together this thing here that we call the Digital Transformation Roadmap. And in the past, you've heard me talk about three things. It's people, it's process, and it's technology. And what we've done here is we've expanded on the first two. So we've broken process out into business process and IT process, because those both become important things to think about. And as you think about people, we've broken out both your users and your customers, because those are very different audiences to be thinking about as you start to map your journey. And then lastly, competitive differentiation, which I think matters to everybody regardless of where you are. And as you set off on this journey, you wind up going down a path which is unique to you. Customers are going down on different paths as they proceed on their journey. But by using tools like Acumatica, you're then able to bring these paths together, drive an alignment across your organization, and then it's all about setting yourself up for growth and setting yourself up for a strong future off of this. And so that's really what we're talking about when we think about this notion of a digital transformation journey. So with that, what I'd like to do is go right to another story of one of our customers, a nonprofit that's sitting over here with Sarah. And let's hear a bit about their digital transformation journey.
Great. Thank you, John. Welcome. Great to see everybody. Lots of familiar faces, lots of new faces. Happy to have the Mosaic team up here. I have Alan Conley, the CEO. I have Tammy Robb, the CFO of Mosaic, and of course, their Acumatica partner, Carol Polino from Innovative Cloud Solutions. Really excited to have you guys up here because it's just so important to hear your journey. I thought I'd start with you, Alan. I had a chance to get to know you a little bit prior to this interview, and I thought it was really important to share with the audience. First of all, the name Mosaic's kind of cool and interesting, but tell us a little bit more about what Mosaic is and what you guys do.
Well, Mosaic is a nonprofit. We're in the Finger Lakes of New York. We have about 600 employees. We serve about 2,000 individuals throughout those counties. And what we do, and our mission is to provide lifelong opportunities for people with diverse abilities so that they can be successful in the future. So that's our mission, that's our why. Our how is we provide different services, like, for example, residential services, day services to teach individuals what to do, and educational types of things, community services. We also run a preschool. So we have children with various abilities, those with disabilities integrated into various classrooms. And the other thing that we do, which is kind of unique, is we offer vocational services. And so with that, we're one of the largest providers of landscaping, janitorial, snow removal in our neck of the woods, if you will. We have about 150 different facilities that we manage through doing those kind of things. And so it provides a lot of opportunity for work. Finally, we're a manufacturer. So we manufacture winter hats, that would be fleece, wool type hats for the Department of Defense. And we've been doing that for 25 years. So Army, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, West Point, all those are our customers. And so with doing all that, you can tell we're a diverse type of company, but we're also a very highly regulated company because of the state of New York requires a lot of different things. So that's just in a nutshell, a little bit about what we do.
Unbelievable. It's one of these things that the more I've asked you questions about the business, the more I see, wow, it's a big mission, lots of complexities. So with that, with last year being a year of so much uncertainty and so much ability to pivot and change, Tammy, can you tell us a little bit about what last year looked like for your team? And again, looking at this with a lens of nonprofit, regulation, services, lots of complexities. Help us understand that.
Well, we started 2020 with the merger of two chapters of the ARC New York, the ARC of Yates and the ARC of Seneca Cayuga. That was to happen on January 1st, and we did, and we had a year planned out. We knew it was going to be difficult. We were going to merge systems, we were going to merge teams, and then COVID hit. And so that made everything more difficult. We had to lay people off. It was very difficult for us. And then we decided to soldier on and keep working, and then ransomware hit our legacy on-premise system. We were down for about 2 weeks. We couldn't use our internet or anything. Arc of Yates had been on Acumatica since 2018. That could still run, so we could still run a portion of our business. The Seneca Cayuga was on an on-premises legacy system that was demolished. And they even wanted to charge us an additional ransom to try to bring it back. So we pulled a copy off our backup and put it back on there because we didn't want to pay that. Right. So we finally, I had to be IT director for about 30 days because I was in between them. So we were scheduled to go live on July 1st on our combined instance of Acumatica. We had to put that off till September 1st because I had to crisis manage our ransomware incident. We finally did go live. Now we are protected. I have a new IT director that protects us as well. And we are now merged and able to, and we're starting our manufacturing implementation to be able to support that instance, you know.
And I guess that's kind of what we were about last year, and I think probably everyone in the audience can think about this. And our watchword was resiliency. Yep. Because we were considered an essential business in the state of New York and the federal government because we were working for the Department of Defense, an essential business because we were taking care of people with individuals with disabilities. And so they had a 2 to 3 times higher death rate as it related to COVID. COVID hit New York very, very hard. So we had to figure out how to make sure that they are protected. But also from the manufacturing side, we had to determine, well, how do we keep COVID out of the manufacturing facility? How do we manage that in an effective way and keep on working in order to solve the problem? Yeah. In the midst of all that, we had launched a product line a couple of years ago called Arctic Gear, which we sell not only on our own but also through Target. And so we had to figure out how are we going to do that in the midst of all this. So we had to figure out how to reduce costs, how to look at other opportunities for growth. And one of the things we did as a partnership, we worked with Cornell University, and they have a partnership with the state prison system. So we figured out how to make masks for 40,000 prisoners in the state of New York. So all these things were going on at the same time, and for some reason, I don't know why, but in grad school they never did tell you how do you manage an organization in the midst of a global pandemic. And so that's what we were doing all of last year, and it sounds like everybody else kind of figured that one out too. So
unreal. And I think what's so compelling about your story is that your mission is so focused on supporting your nonprofit with 100% of your proceeds. You know, different from many of our more traditional manufacturing companies. I found that really inspiring. Love the hats, by the way.
Right. Too. So that's kind of the unique thing about our mission is that whenever we manufacture our product line, our own product line, trademark product line, 100% of the profits go back. It's not a portion of the profits go back to. It's 100% go back to those people that we serve every day.
Great. Well, I thought I'd also start by asking Carol, how did you manage this? I mean, the Acumatica partners bring so much value to our customers, and we always take a lot of pride in making sure we can move at the speed and of the challenges that you faced. Carol, can you tell us a little bit about how you navigated this situation, how and what you were able to provide them?
Yeah, so we view ourselves as more of a partner with Mosaic, not a vendor-customer relationship. So I think we sort of see ourselves as an extension of their team. In fact, Amy on our customer success team worked with Tammy and Alan to put the information together for a grant application and receive the grant that they used to purchase the manufacturing modules for Acumatica. So that's what enabled them to get the manufacturing project off the ground. So we just work together, one team.
Great. And it's very valuable to provide that type of insight. So I think the other important question is, where is next? What does the next chapter look like going forward? I think as many businesses have encountered so much challenge this last year, it's now looking forward in the future of what's next. So can you tell us a little bit about what the journey ahead might look like?
Well, one of the reasons we picked Acumatica was scalability. We have a strategic initiative now to save other nonprofits. We are now going to be building our 4th tenant on Acumatica in January of another nonprofit that we're going to manage and save from bankruptcy. And this is going to help us do that.
Wonderful.
Yeah, we sort of, with the diversity of their business model and the innovations Acumatica is making, we just see so much potential for them in their growth. I think by implementing Acumatica, they've made themselves very agile. So they're going to be able to take advantage of their opportunities and meet their goals.
So really, I guess this year coming up, we're going to continue to collaborate with great companies like Acumatica. We're going to continue with the innovation because we have to. There's no other choice, but we have to innovate within ourselves in terms of the services that we provide, the programs we provide, and then also going out to the public in terms of providing more opportunity, more things that we can do for the Department of Defense or in the commercial space to be able to build our consumer-facing brand. And then, finally, we will accelerate, as we've talked about here, through managing and providing these services to smaller nonprofits because they are in desperate need of help, of back office type of help, and we've been able to do that already, and we will see that growth going forward. So we look at, coming out of COVID, there was just a lot of opportunity, and and we're just very excited about that. And we look for partners that will help us, not hurt us. And Acumatica has been that for us.
It's wonderful. I wish you continued success going forward. It's awesome to see that the future looks really bright, and knowing that hopefully Acumatica was a small part of how that continued to go forward. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and turn you over to Jon. Thank you very much.
Yeah, come on over here, guys. Come join me center stage. Tammy, Alan, Carol. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. And what we're showing up here is we mapped Mosaic onto what we heard from your story, and the focus on business process and on IT. And obviously you're focusing on all 5 of these, but those are the 2 that really stood out. But Tammy, tell me what else, if you have anything else you want to share with the audience, what else do you think about with Acumatica?
I'm just looking forward to working with Colleen and everyone to wring every last bit out of Acumatica so that we can be as efficient as possible and save as many nonprofits as possible.
Yeah, all right. Great mission. Very excited to present Mosaic with the 2021 Acumatica Impact Customer of the Year Award for what they've done. So
thank you, Jon.
There we go.
Thank you.
Let's do a picture. Okay. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you again. Great story. Great story, digital transformation, great digital transformation journey story. And so hopefully you're starting to see what I'm talking about when I talk about these journeys, that they're sort of never ending. And so part of what Acumatica has been about for the last really 5 years has been a really heavy focus on aligning with customer needs. And we've done that through these editions that we put out that we call industry editions. And so distribution, manufacturing, construction, and retail commerce. And you're going to hear a lot more about these over the next few days, and particularly tomorrow. We've broken out a whole section of tomorrow's demos to be really focused in on what we're doing with each of the industry editions. But I do want to highlight a few things that stood out to me, and why these are so important to us. The first point is now 78% of the Acumatica sales are coming through the form of an industry edition. So, 22% are still buying our general business edition, and that's great. But the fact that we're getting that high level of alignment with these industry edition tells me that what we're putting out there is really resonating. And so let's just spend a minute talking about each of them. Distribution, which is arguably Acumatica's bread and butter from day one. We've always been extremely good at inventory. In the last year, we put out in our WMS wave and batch picking. We've done seamless cross-sell, and you're going to see some of this cross-sell, upsell to e-commerce sites tomorrow. And then inventory management, where we now support matrix items and item substitution. And again, you're going to see some things around substitutions tomorrow. On Manufacturing Edition, last year at the summit, one of the big announcements was the acquisition of Jazz Systems. And over the last year and whatever, we've been working on bringing that team, fully onboarding them into Acumatica. We've actually been hiring a lot of people to grow that team. And then, of course, bringing that entire code base into Acumatica's core ERP code base, along with all the things you need to go along with that, to ensure quality, things like regression tests and such. But you've seen us focus on things like manufacturing data collection and this ability to scan transactions on the shop floor. And then tomorrow, we're going to show you some really cool things around capable to promise and visual scheduling, which is really, really exciting. Next, Construction Edition. Construction Edition is something we launched now a bit over 3 years ago, and I think we really caught the industry both by surprise and by storm. It's doing incredibly well. We're so excited to see all the construction customers, many of them who are now here with us. And last year, you probably remember on Summit, I had the president of CFMA, the Construction Finance Managers Association, joined me on stage, and we announced a partnership with them where all Acumatica Construction Edition customers were going to get a CFMA membership. And then we also announced that we were working with them on this benchmarking tool that we've now put out there, which lets you benchmark your construction operation against best-in-class industry benchmarks inside Acumatica. Very powerful thing that we'd like to see happen in other industries, so stay tuned for that. Beyond that, some things in our project module and our construction components, simplifying project billing, project payment reconciliation, and then some of the things we're doing around lifecycle flexibility have really, really helped out a lot in the last edition. And then lastly, on retail commerce. So for those of you who've been paying close attention, the first one that jumps out is, hey, that thing used to be called Commerce Edition. What happens? And yeah, we renamed it. We renamed it to Retail Commerce. And we did that because previously we were very focused on the B2B scenarios that lined up with Acumatica's inventory and distribution strengths. But as we've grown as a company, we're now going after the B2C scenarios. We've built out a very rich omni-channel set of capabilities. You've seen us deliver the native Shopify and BigCommerce connections. And on the point of sale side, last year we delivered Acumatica POS, and we also now support Shopify's POS Pro. Okay, so that's the retail commerce. And we want to hear from a customer of ours who's down in the Portland area, who also has been working through their own digital transformation journey over the last year, a company called Clive Coffee. So please run the video, guys.
Clive Coffee is known for being the home barista experts. We sell high-end luxury home espresso machines. We're based in Portland, Oregon, and we just opened a warehouse location in Nashville, Tennessee.
A lot changed for Clive in 2020. We are 100% online retailer, whereas before we had a showroom and some in-person presence as well.
As consumer preferences changed to home espresso, so did their expectations. They expected us to deliver product within 2 to 3 days.
We were running QuickBooks in addition and separate from our inventory and order processing system. You live in 2 different systems to do your day-to-day work. When we started looking for potential ERP, we knew we wanted to bring inventory, order processing, and accounting all in one system. That was the goal. And as we started along our journey, we saw that with Acumatica, we could bring in the e-commerce retail side and link it in too, directly to our Shopify store.
We can put all of our information in Acumatica and trust that it will integrate into the front end. That means we're spending less time in multiple systems, checking to make sure that the customer has the accurate information.
Acumatica has helped me in my role with instant and accurate reporting. I want to know at any point in time how much inventory we have, particularly now that we have 2 warehouse locations.
I think the most exciting part about Acumatica is the fact that our shipping and our inventory is the same system. We have our finance and our operation system directly talking to and related to our Shopify site. So any sort of quick changes we need to make, they happen in real time, and we're able to solve problems really quickly.
After a year like 2020 and 2021, having the Acumatica app on the go for someone like me who can work from anywhere is critical. I can help my team on the go when they're having issues and be sure to get the work done so our customers never experience any downtime.
In the future, we have plans for using field service, using manufacturing, and being able to use Acumatica for anything else that comes our way.
All right, awesome, awesome story. You know, again, a major, you heard another one, you heard it from Mosaic, but you heard it there from Clive, a major shift in their business as they moved from retail stores to having to move to all online, opening up a warehouse at the same time, and they pulled it off with Acumatica and their partner. And if you're ever in Portland, go visit Clive Coffee. So the thing that's enabling all of the things we're talking about this morning is the underlying Acumatica Cloud XRP platform. This is this platform that we shipped now many years ago, but that we continue to update under the covers. And it's what allows the flexibility and the easy integration and allows us, both us and our partners, to add on new functionality at that application level very easily. And sometimes, you know, when required on short notice. And so a good example of that is if we go back to, you know, a year and a bit ago, who knew that the requirements on remote work support were going to be where they are today, right? And yet, there they are. And so we've been doing some work now with Microsoft over the last 6 months that we're excited to share with you where we are on that. And Doug's here to show us that, so take it away, Doug.
Thank you very much, John. Good to see everybody today. So Acumatica is transforming the way you do business by bringing everybody together in a collaborative business application environment. The new Teams and Microsoft Teams is bringing everybody together in a communications-oriented environment. What better idea than to marry the two together and have an integration so that you don't have to switch context when going back and forth between Teams and your Acumatica instances. So I'd like to do a short demonstration just to show you how that would work in a real-life scenario. So here I am, I'm a customer support manager, and let's say I get a phone call from somebody who says, I'm curious about the particular case that I'm working on. So you can see here under my high priority cases, I have that. But since I was just recently working on it, I'm going to go to the recently used records and click on the case in question. Now, since Michael called me up and asked about it, I'm going to try and go get a status. Now, notice that there's two new icons that you see here, the Teams icons that are showing presence. So I can see the person that's assigned to the case, Regina Wiley, is online. So I'm going to go ahead and click that Teams button. And I have the option to text or call or set up a chat. So let's go ahead and set up the chat with her. And it immediately takes me to Teams. So I'm going to say, what is the status of case with Michael? Getting some static. And we'll see if she is indeed online. Oh, all right. Well, so now it's my job as the optimal customer support person. I think I'll try and give the news to Michael a little maybe more honest, maybe not quite that honestly in terms of what's going on. So let's head back. Now, once again, Regina was one of my internal contacts, but the good news is I can also contact external people. So Michael Panzaroli happens to be a member of the Microsoft Teams group. So we'll use him as to actually place an outbound call, and we can talk to him about the case. So I'm going to start the phone call. Maybe I'll turn on my video. Good morning, Michael. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. Well, thanks so much. It's good to have you on board, and thanks for joining us here at the Acumatica Summit. Thanks a lot for helping us with building our Teams integration, and we're certainly glad you could join us.
Hey, it's great to be here virtually at the Acumatica Summit. Hi, everybody. I'm a Principal Technical Architect for Microsoft Teams. Yeah, Doug, it's been great working with the Acumatica team and building out the integration. Acumatica is a valued Microsoft partner, and we truly appreciate that partnership.
I've been telling everybody here about how bringing the two systems together is very important. Acumatica is transforming the way business takes place. Teams is transforming the way communications takes place. Have you seen a lot of demand for integrations with Teams?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, we've seen a tenfold increase in just that since 2020. And so being able to connect Teams to business applications such as Acumatica is important because it allows people to collaborate without having to, leave the context of their current work stream, just keeping them focused and allowing them to do their best work. And also, it's been exciting working with the team at Acumatica as they became one of the first ERPs to integrate with Teams, and we appreciate that.
Well, Michael, thanks very much for taking time out of your day today. We'll let you get back to things. It's a great Teams call, everything but the dog barking. So thanks again for your time today, and I'll let you get back to work.
All right, sounds great. Great to be here. Take care.
Bye now. Now, you can see as part of that, this is just one of many screens that you can have that information that's presented. We'll be adding more and more features. Michael will continue working with us to add an even tighter integration with Teams. The last thing I'll show is that records of what's done is included in the Activities tab, so you can keep an idea of what's Teams calls and other things have transpired. Thanks again, John, for inviting me to this.
All right, Doug. Thanks for showing us that. Again, totally highlights what we're able to do with the power of the platform, the open APIs. And being able to count on your vendor clearly is important, but we also strongly believe in, and you heard me talk about it earlier, the ability to count on your community around you. And the Acumatica community site now has thousands and thousands of people up there every day participating, and the Summit itself really is ground zero for the Acumatica community. So I'd like to start by acknowledging and thanking a core group, which are the Acumatica MVPs. And so we have 107 Acumatica MVPs, and these are folks who they work in the community site answering questions for people about Acumatica. They do blogging, they write technical white papers, and they help out on code samples and all sorts of things. And so can we bring the lights up, please? And I'd like to ask the MVPs in the room. I know they're not all here, but we've got some of them in the room. Please stand up. Come on, guys, don't be shy. All right. Thank you all. And you probably saw we were doing some photos with them last night and giving them the awards while we were in the marketplace reception last night. So beyond the MVPs, then clearly partners generally are a huge part of the Acumatica community. And you know, different types of partners. I'll come back and talk a little bit more about that. But you know, the focus they've got on Acumatica now is more exciting than ever. So let's go ahead and run a video we shot last night of them and get a feel for some of that excitement.
The most powerful part of joining Acumatica is the community itself.
Acumatica is a great company. They're very partner first, so all the partners are connected together with a high incentive to work together to reach the customer outcome.
The user community that Acumatica is starting to build, now is the time to get involved in this and let your business grow with the software.
Collaboration allows you to offer options to your customers that you wouldn't know about otherwise.
We can come in with one platform and do multiple things.
We've seen customers grow. We've seen as they've scaled and added entities, the solution comes up right behind them.
Now, the way that the platform is designed and built, it is future-proof, and that's what our customers love.
Power of the Acumatica platform means that we do a better job with helping our customers, which means they do a better job at running their business.
I would encourage anybody who's serious about their ERP solution, take a look at Acumatica because it is the best technology.
It's the best time to bet your business in Acumatica.
I bet my entire business on Acumatica.
Now is the best time to bet your business on Acumatica.
All right. Go partners. Great energy last night at the marketplace reception. You see some of that come out in that video. We now have over 350 gold and silver certified VARs. So these are the resellers those are organizations, and those organizations are made up of thousands and thousands of Acumatica certified individuals, growing every year, 40, 50%. So it's one of the most exciting parts of this overall community. And then the next part I want to touch on is the ISVs in our community. And we now have over 240 Acumatica ISVs that are getting their products certified. Over 80 of them are here in our marketplace. So if you haven't gotten into the marketplace yet and taken a look at some of them that are in there, you can get a view of what's going on there. This ecosystem has been growing for years. And it's exciting to see how it is becoming more and more specialized. It's lining up by areas like productivity or service, but also it's becoming more oriented along with our industry additions. And that's something you're going to see. We're seeing more and more ISVs that are industry-specific extensions or areas coming in, and that's great because no company can do it all by itself. And so with that, I'd like to go ahead and introduce a demo that we've been working on with a small software company in California called Adobe. They do a little bit with document management. Perhaps you guys have seen this thing called the PDF. And we're really excited about some, again, back to those platform capabilities of Acumatica. We're really excited to share with you guys some of the things we've been able to do working with Adobe on an integration. So Jessica is here to show us, so take it away, Jessica.
Thank you, John. Good morning, everybody. My name is Jessica Gadbois. I am Acumatica's Director of Partner Enablement, and I am thrilled to be able to show you this brand new integration with our partner Adobe, one of the top software providers in the world, with a special concentration in document management. Now, we know that many of our Acumatica customers are managing documents inside of Acumatica today. Manufacturing customers with their CAD drawings, construction customers with blueprints, NDAs, contracts, you name it. Many Acumatica customers are storing their documents in Acumatica today. Now, how many of us, though, are making changes to those documents, annotating those documents, emailing new versions of those documents back and forth? This is a pretty common scenario that we see really for any business. So what I'm going to do is highlight how with our brand new integration with Adobe, we're able to take that automation directly inside of Acumatica to help your teams collaborate a bit more effectively. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to call up a construction project for the ever-expanding Wynn Hotel and Casino, kind of like the universe. It's just constantly expanding and getting bigger. But with this project, you see that in the top right, I have 2 files attached to this project. And through the new Adobe PDF Annotator integration, I call up that side panel, and you can see those documents directly in this side panel. Now, if I have multiple documents, of course, I can toggle back and forth between them. I can use the arrows at the top to allow me to do that as well. But what I see here is a property map of the Wynn. And I don't know about you, but I am a little bit sick of walking 15 minutes to the ballroom every day. So what we can do is we can annotate or edit this document with the changes that maybe a project manager or a property manager might want to make. So you'd see in the top right that I have a number of options to utilize. I can add text, I can add drawings, highlights. And what we'll do here is say, we really need another ballroom, maybe closer to the elevators. So I'll just add some text there. I can drop in a drawing, you know, X marks the spot of where we want that ballroom to go. Some of those basic annotation tools that you might need to help you to make those document changes. And I am just giving you a construction example right now. I can show you another quick example in just a moment. But now, what is the benefit of being able to make these changes? Well, you'll be able to keep track of all of the edits that are made against these documents. So a full audit trail to be able to see the history of those changes that are made. You can even use business events to tie into this and send notifications to the appropriate stakeholders that need to know when a change has been made to these documents. Beyond that, the version control piece is very important. We know that document management does involve typically a number of versions. So we'll store that active version for you, but when I actually go into the file, you can see here that all of my past versions are available, and I can view those files at any time if necessary. Helping all of you that are managing those documents to reduce the manual effort that is required to stay inside of your ERP and not have to go back and forth outside of the system to maintain those documents. One more quick example. I know that not everybody in the room is managing projects, so I'll show you one more example using a sales order. Again, you see I have a few files attached here, and I'll just call up that PDF side panel one more time. And here I'm going to see that I have an invoice attached to the sales order that I'm working with. Perhaps as I'm giving this a second look, I noticed that a discount should have been applied, but was not. So one more quick document change to show this connection with Adobe a bit further. I will just highlight the change that needs to be made, make sure my team knows that they need to add that discount in, and we are off to the races. Thank you to Adobe for working with us on the creation of this new integration, all with the power of the Acumatica platform, and will now be available for our partners and customers in 2021 R2. Back over to Jon.
All right. Very exciting scenario there we're doing with Adobe. And again, it shows the power of the platform. The fact that we can easily bring things like Adobe document markup or Teams integration. We've got some really, really exciting ideas of where we're going with Teams integration. And we couldn't do a morning keynote without showing you some of what's coming in 2021 R2. So hopefully by now you've gotten the fact that Acumatica, its platform, its industry editions, its community is the right combination to take you on your digital transformation journey. But if you haven't, let's take a look at one more customer video here, please.
Acumatica is absolutely foundational for us in our business today and then how we scale. It's the one source of truth for all of our financial and operational data. For us, it's foundational for our success in the future.
With Acumatica, we're ready for anything that could happen to us.
We are more confident in every challenge we face and every decision we make.
By having information at our fingertips at any moment that we can adapt to any changes that might come in the future, and we don't know what those are, we'll be prepared.
Digital resilience is critical for us because we're moving so fast to keep competitive. That really makes a difference so that we can grow the business the way that we need to.
We measure our success in increments. We will continue to evolve and adapt, and Acumatica is flexible enough to accommodate all of our future goals.
The world is kind of your oyster in terms of possibilities for efficiency and having seamless operations. It's going to be a big part of our company now and into the future, and we're very excited to continue growing that.
Okay, and with that, I'd like to go ahead and introduce one other customer here that we've got sitting us here with Sarah, a company called ISS that's going to tell us a little bit about their digital transformation journey.
Great, thank you, John. Here I am again, getting to this great opportunity to have another customer up here. It's so important to get to hear different experiences, and this one is particularly interesting. So with me here with ISS, I have BDO, Francisco Caligari, I have Eric Frank from Nextech, and of course, James Craig from ISS. Thank you so much for joining me in this little section of the stadium. So why don't you go ahead, James, tell us a little bit about what is ISS, what do you guys do?
ISS, we deliver highly technical repair and maintenance work into the downstream oil and gas industry. That's with refineries, petrochemicals, and also the power generation industry. So it's a very niche market, very fragmented market, and so our goal is to combine and kind of put a national footprint into that service, and so that's what we're working with the private equity group over the next few years in order to build that up and put together a consolidated company in that regard.
Understood. So interestingly enough, I had a chance to ask some questions. What was last year like? Because once I kind of got a sense of what was going on, my jaw dropped, and I thought, how did you do this? So tell us what you experienced with your tremendous growth and what was going on for you last year.
Yeah, we did. This was an acquisition. It was a carve-out acquisition from a $5 billion company, and they weren't providing anything in the back office. So no systems, no people, no HR, no accounting or anything like that. And so we made the acquisition, and there was really just two of us. So we had to stand up a company and a system that could handle 300 to 400 projects active at any given time.
Wow.
Tracking time for 220 so employees, and we needed to do it in a very quick time frame. And so we started from scratch on that, had our partners that came to work with us. Of course, we were about 45 days in when COVID hit. So now we were working with customer protocols as far as how to put people still into work and also protocols of our company. So that slowed down, changed the whole dynamic of doing the implementation of Acumatica. So now it became a virtual implementation, which...
Something unexpected you weren't planning.
Unexpected. Luckily, of course, with the cloud-based, it was all, that helped with everything that we had in place. And then the last that we had was 3 hurricanes that hit our primary work area. Top it off and go through that. So that impacted a lot of our employees and also our customers as far as going. So we had some obstacles to overcome, but we put the system in and converted over within 6 months of starting, and actually then began running the business from that point on. So it was a fun effort, a lot of things going on, but it worked out great.
So let me ask this, how did the BDO relationship with your team as well as the Nextech team, how did that synergy kind of come together? What did you help them with? I mean, this was no easy task.
When we got engaged with ISS, part of the reason that they engaged with BDO and with us is deep vertical expertise in the oil and gas industry. And our teams have just a tremendous number of connections over a long period of time. And as you talked about COVID and hurricanes, that trust really mattered. At the end of the day, we had to change what we were doing, implement remotely, short timelines, and still had to get it done. And we were able to do that through some challenging circumstances, but the success was there, so it really worked.
Amazing. And Francisco, can you share?
Well, yeah, just to put it in context with BDO Digital, we help companies, develop IT strategies that align their IT investments to their overall goals and objectives. And in working with James, when they were negotiating the transaction, we helped them develop the blueprint for their business and then identify the system integrators and the vendors that will be able to deliver all this framework. And that's when we engaged with Eric and Nextech to map all the requirements into Acumatica. So the fact that we did that before January 31st, that we had all of our ducks in a row, was huge because COVID brought all this uncertainty, but it was now a matter of execution.
Absolutely.
Getting the job done.
And a lot of confidence in this team, I can tell.
Yeah, we knew the group, had worked with them in the past, and as we said, BDO took us from there. We didn't have any email server or anything like that, so it was a complete
just ground up.
The digital build up.
Yeah. So how and what do we see next? I mean, I think that's what's an important lesson of when we all look at our own businesses, personal, professional lives. What can we see going forward? Digital transformation and the journey ahead. What does it look like?
Mm-hmm. You want it?
Well, I think that we are living and breathing the digital transformation. So for example, ISS today doesn't have a single server or local software. All runs in the cloud. You have Acumatica running on the cloud. They have Microsoft 365 for collaboration tools. They use Azure, Azure for engineering services, ADP Workforce Now for HR and payroll.
Great.
No IT department. There's no one single internal IT staff. All the support comes from strategic partners like Nextech and BDO and others. And to tell you the truth, I think that COVID has made our relationship so much stronger, don't you think?
I believe. Yep.
Absolutely. Eric, anything else on that?
Acumatica really was the backbone for what you guys needed from a business systems perspective, and we were able to be nimble, and our job as Nextech was to represent the ERP part of a larger platform that BDO was doing, and we were joking about the project plan of there was a great plan, and then COVID happened, and no good plan survives contact with the enemy, and we were able to move quickly to change and still deliver the quality remotely, which has been, and we wouldn't have been able to do that without Acumatica.
Absolutely, it's exciting, and I know there's a future ahead. I know you have great growth plans.
We have great growth plans both through organically and through acquisitions, so this allows us to be very scalable and be able to grow. We're looking at expanding out for the the mobile application. So having a cloud base was very critical for us, and then just continue to grow through there. We have no desire to have a large IT department. We want to outsource that and focus on what we do, which is providing our customers service, and so that's where we depend on these guys to keep us lean and everything else. So we're looking forward to it. We've got some additional projects that we've got lined up to keep going, and so we keep tweaking and growing.
That's the beauty of the platform. You're just constantly thinking of new strategies, initiatives that you can see going down the future, and it's wonderful to have a team here to help you navigate that. Wish you the very best and success. It's been a pleasure to have you up here. Thank you very much. John, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over.
Yeah, come on over here, guys. Join me center stage. All right, James. Francisco. Eric.
John.
So all of you, thank you. Great, great story. Thank you so much for sharing this story. And James, anything else you want to share with the group, beyond that? You talked about no IT, you talked about going to the cloud.
Well, for us, it's great. This is an end-to-end platform, and again, the cloud base is very critical for us, and also because we're a service company, the way not having a per seat, because we want to have people going in and out. So it really hits all of the things that are critical for us to be able to grow and to scale, and that's what we intend to do.
All right, well, it's great. Well, we love the partnership, and we love what you guys have done, and so we're going to present you here with the Acumatica 2021 Customer of the Year Award, James.
All right,
so,
thank you very much.
Come on, guys, you can get in the picture. All right, thank you. Fantastic story. digital transformation journey, albeit a rapid one, going from 0 to where they are in 6 months, and it's been just amazing to watch. And you know, for me, it's particularly fun. You know, I've worked with Francisco through multiple Acumatica implementations, and it's great to see BDO and the customer and the partner all working together on solving those problems. So Acumatica is a vendor, obviously a bunch of people that everybody here is here and counting on. And so to sort of give you a little bit of reassurance around that, I can tell you we are going nowhere but up. And I'll start off by showing you the 2020-2021 IDC ERP vendor survey that just came out recently that has Acumatica scored for the 8th year in a row as the fastest growing ERP, Cloud ERP, because almost all of these guys are cloud at this point, company in the industry. And this is a global number. So, and you can see that it's not even really close. I mean, our growth is just going extremely well right now, and we thank all of you for that. And so what are we doing with that growth? Well, we're using it to hire lots more people. We've hired over 150 people in the last year through the pandemic. And as we're coming back to work in offices, and you know, us, like many of you, we're expecting we're going to come back to a hybrid work model. But we still, people are expecting offices, and we've outgrown a lot of our offices. I mean, it's been really interesting. Like coming here to the summit, I've met something like 25 employees already that I never met before face to face. And so we're going through these similar changes as many of you are. So we've outgrown our Bellevue, Washington in the Seattle area. We outgrew our Bellevue, Washington office, and we've moved to a new office just last month in Kirkland, Washington. And so any of you who've been following Acumatica for some time, 8 years ago, we were in Kirkland when I started. We outgrew that office. We moved to Bellevue. We've now outgrown that office, and we're back in Kirkland. The office we've got up in Montreal, Canada, it's where we do a lot of development. All of our ISV team and our developer support is up there. Again, we outgrew our space there, and so we've opened up a new space there as people are coming back. And then one I'm particularly excited about is we've just opened our first office in London, England. And so we've had a bunch of customers that we've been working with out of the UK, but the business there is growing fast enough that we said it's time for us to open an office there. My mother lives there, so she might even be watching. So hi, Mom. We're coming to London, so you might get to see me more often. And then lastly, I mentioned last summit, the office we opened in Sri Lanka, and we now have over 50 employees working in Sri Lanka on development, on services, and support. So really great, and that's all about helping us better serve our customers. And I'm excited to announce this morning that we now have over 8,000 customers, right? Over 8,000 customers that are now running Acumatica globally. And so it's a big number, it's growing faster, and we're obviously quite excited about that. But what I think in a lot of ways is more important is that we're able to do that at a very high level of customer satisfaction. And so this is a slide from the recent G2 customer satisfaction survey of, again, all ERP vendors. So it's a very busy slide because you'll see that vendors like Sage that have multiple products are on there multiple times. But the important takeaway is that if you look up in the top right, there's only one vendor up there, and that's Acumatica. And you know that's because not just the employees of Acumatica, but because of our partners, our VARs, our ISVs, everybody in this community is working to try and make this the best place for a positive customer experience. And at the end of the day, that's what we're all about. We believe that if we do that well, we see people like Francisco tell others about Acumatica, and you're going to hear tomorrow the story of somebody who's on their second Acumatica implementation, and that's just super, super cool to see. So we're growing offices, we're growing employees, we're growing customer base. But another thing that's important, and I think becoming more important to all of us, is that we're accomplishing that growth in a climate-sensitive way. And so we've been working over the last year to get Acumatica climate neutral certified. And so that now means that we are doing complete carbon offsets for the entire Acumatica corporate footprint. All right, so let that settle in for a second. And then the second thing is you run these events like the summit, and obviously there's a pretty big footprint going on here. And so we've been working with a vendor called Meet Green that is now certifying events for green events. And so you'll notice that we don't have a lot of paper wastage going on here. That's being done very purposely. And so something that's very important to us, and I know going forward, I'm excited to be able to get on the stage in the next couple of years, maybe sooner, and be able to tell you that we're running the entire Acumatica cloud on sustainably generated energy. And that's the next step that we're going for. Yeah, it's something I know is important to all of us. And if we're able to do that, behind all of this, there's an element of us taking these legacy on-premise systems, which most of our customers are coming from. They're running on old servers, inefficient servers, poorly utilized servers, and we're able to move them up into the cloud, not just with a better experience and better software, but they're able to move up into a much more efficient footprint on a state-of-the-art server, more highly utilized, cooled properly, et cetera. So this is something that we care deeply about at Acumatica, and I'm excited to hear the applause for that as well. So, yeah. Yeah, I think we're all getting a little freaked out about the global warming, so it's good. So I want to take a moment to do a special shout out to all of the Acumatica customers that helped us out with today's presentation and with other sessions you're going to see over the next few days of the summit. It was additional work and additional things we asked them to do for us during what have been more difficult than usual times. And they all stepped up, and they were all excited to share their digital transformation journey stories with all of you. And what I'd like to do now is ask for us to bring the house lights up, okay? And I want you all to take a look around here. Look left, and look right, all right? Because this is the heart of the Acumatica community. And the couple thousand that are here in person, the thousands that are watching out there on the internet, you are the folks that are really creating the systems and running the systems that now hundreds of thousands of people, we can look at who is logging in on Acumatica. And there are hundreds of thousands of people every day now logging in to Acumatica. And I mentioned that number of 4.8 billion transactions, right? So you got hundreds of thousands of end users logging into the systems that you guys have put together and put out there, obviously in partnership with us and the partner ecosystem. And they're doing that incredible volume, and that gets me so excited to think about that. But the core of all of this is right here. So I want to say thank you all for that. Have a fantastic summit. Be there tonight at the party at the Encore Beach Club. So stop by. Maybe we can grab a drink together. And thank you so much for the trust that you've put into Acumatica. Have a great summit.